Welcome, you have reached review time with Imperial, and today's review will be Berlin, a spin-off to Money Heist, a Netflix series. Subscribe to the channel, like to the video. Let's get into it. So if you were a fan or you watched the whole Money Heist series, you were into the whole heist and plot and storyline of the Money Heist, whether it got wonky or not, you was following one of the main characters, Berlin. Pretty much, we still really, he was dying off of illness. To him and his brother, they was in a shootout, and we automatically assumed he died at that moment. The series ended, but it always showed like backstory of Berlin helping the professor put together this heist. Now, what this Berlin spin-off series is, it's basically a prequel to the Money Heist when Berlin was already doing his own money heists with other people. So also ties in this series some of the key players that we've seen into the Money Heist series. So that was cool that they tied that in, saying that they were already on a Berlin and looking for him for years. So this is basically these events of this Berlin spin-off Money Heist was many years before the actual Money Heist, where the plot of this series is stealing 44 million in jewels and framing somebody who provides security for it. Now, let's go over the cast. So, of course, the main hold on. You got the main actor as Berlin plays as Pedro Alonso. Then you have Kayla Michelle Jenner. Tristan Ulo plays as Damian Vasquez. Bergona Vargas plays as Cameron. Julio Pera plays as Roy. Joel Sanchez plays as Bruce. Samantha Sequaros plays as Camille Pognett. Julian Pascal plays as Francois Pognett. And then where is I can't think of her name. So you had two main people um, that were in the original series, and they both turned. So you had the redhead who was pregnant, and she's in here as well. She was working with the law, and then she really found out where Berlin was. Well, no, where the professor was pregnant, and she ended up switching sides. And then, of course, the lead, Raquel Muriel Fuentes, played by Izaro Atuno. Yeah, Raquel, she was in there as well. So she plays in here. They bring her in to help try to find Berlin. So, of course, it's 8 episodes. Whenever I do a series review, and it's not week to week, if I just do one video as a series review, it's not going to give the series the true justice. So it's best that you go out and watch the series on your own, and so you get the full feeling of the series. I'm summing it up in just a video, so it doesn't does the full justice. So I'm not going to give you the play-by-play of episode after episode that you would receive if it was just coming out week to week. So overall, was a decent series. It's the same type of that premise of Berlin. It's charismatic, how he talks to people, how he deal with people, putting the heist all together. They're putting a mock version of the heist. They got their characters who are all have a certain special skill set to bring to the heist. And of course, along the way, they all run into their own trials and tribulations, and they go through the motions of everything, but still in the end successfully being able to pull off the heist. So of course, no one dies in this one. Some a few scares, but no one dies. They end up pulling it off at the end with some holes left, and of course, the characters that's on the team, two sets of them fall in love. So with each other, of course, working together all the time. Of course, they all start off not really looking at each other like that, and then the more they're around each other, they fall in love. Berlin also falls in love. So the Mark, who's he's after, um, Francois Pognick, has a wife named Camille, and she sings in the town that they're in, and he's Francois is always off doing business, doing stuff, so she's kind of left alone, and Berlin, in the process of stalking out Francois, notices her and notices that she's alone a lot. So he zooms in, and of course, because she's lonely, he befriends her, and she's willing to entertain him, and she end up being vulnerable, and she got down with him, and then now she was caught in a place where she had to choose because Berlin told her pretty much she's not willing to be invested in a trivial like situation, and she need to choose. So she kind of like feeling like it's already at the house with her husband. So she really was willing to get with Berlin, but right when she was willing to get with Berlin, Francois got locked up for the heist, and so they found some things in his safe, and when she started getting emotional and pretty much is like, I can't leave my husband at a time like this. So Berlin pretty much jumped in and said, well, I'm gonna give you the money for it, and we just gonna greet your husband, let him know what it is. So the husband, he's more concerned about getting out, and so he accepts Berlin's gesture of giving him the money to get a lawyer to help him get out. And so in the process of that, they end up sending after they got the information out of the husband's safe, they sent him some pictures. I mean, they sent his stuff back. And when she looked in the box of his stuff, what was in the safe, she never knew it was in the safe, and she never had the code or anything. So inside of there was pictures of him with another woman, and he had a kid with another woman that he was hiding. So that, of course, that's gonna motivate her to mess with Berlin. By this time, Berlin and his crew had already made off with the jewels, and everybody got their money. But of course, Camille, uh, she wanted her and her friend had the bright idea to set Berlin up, get him to talk, and that he admitted to everything, and then pretty much extort him to give them money. So he peeped it, got all the information from them that they whatever they recorded, but he still agreed to their terms, even though they didn't have anything on him. He still agreed to their terms and gave them the money, but that took away his share of the money heist. Now, which his right hand man was what was his right hand man's name? Was it Damien? Yeah, I think his right hand man was Damien, and Damien, he told Damien pretty much that, well, hey, he pretty much told Damien that, I got another heist, and Damien was like, okay, I'm with it. Damien, his storyline was pretty much he was like Berlin's number two, and he was like his backup for everything, and he wouldn't let Berlin go out. When Berlin was deep and thick, he came in, and he would go out on his shield with Berlin. So he's a rider for Berlin. But his storyline, he had a wife, and his wife pretty much lost out of love with him, started messing with somebody else, and he was hurt. And so he lost his wife while doing this heist, and she pretty much said you was never around, and she, basically felt vulnerable. typical situations that you hear in those matters. And so now he's full pledged. The other players in the on the team, they didn't have too much storyline. They all got their storylines where they come from and stuff, but they pretty much the other four people on the team, they pretty much end up liking one another and pairing up. So what you had, so that it wasn't much to that. So you had also another person that I didn't fail to mention. It was the commissioner. So she's alone with Raquel, the commissioner. Her name is Mary, and it was her, Raquel, and it was I can't think of what the other girl, the other redhead name was. It'll come to me, but you know who I'm talking about. If you part of the Money Heist um, fan base, that you remember, she had the bang cut redhead. She was pregnant. Well, she's on here in this one, so of course her and Raquel know each other in here, and of course once again this is a prequel, so it shows that they already know each other. Raquel and her was in the academy together, so that they already know each other. So other than that, it was a decent series. I already see that it's supposed to be a part two. I mean, I said a part two, a season two of the series. So, you know, a lot of people, we all like the whole money heist type uh, movies and series. We like seeing the underdogs rise above and get from the rich and get off with the money. You know, they go through their own trials and tribulations, of course, but we all root for that type of stuff. I guess that's why those type movies or shows are popular. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, tell me what you think. I'm a little late to the party with this review because this series has been out for a couple months now, but never late than never. Never late than never. Pardon me on that. Till next time.